Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here again to introduce Columbia's program, Suspense. If you have been with us on these Tuesday nights, you will know that suspense is compounded of mystery and suspicion and dangerous adventure. In this series are tales calculated to intrigue you, to stir your nerves, to offer you a precarious situation, and then withhold the solution until the last possible moment. And so with 5 Canaries in the room, and the performances of Ona Munson as Anita, Osa Masson as Fifi, and with Lee Bowman as Ronald Denham, who tells the story, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
The trouble was, you see, that the whole apartment vanished. It's true. The flat disappeared straight out of that apartment house, and the dead man disappeared with it. No, I'm not crazy. And in spite of what they said, I hadn't taken too many drinks. You see, I was getting married to Anita in another 2 weeks, and Jimmy Westlake gave a bachelor party for me. Oh, hang it, it's a situation that might have happened to you. The party was at the old Cap and Bells Club on Lower Fifth Avenue, and it wasn't a brawl. Jimmy Westlake was in the chair, I admit. But nothing could have been more quiet, more dignified.
Oh, mademoiselle from Armentières, parlez-vous? Mademoiselle from Armentières, parlez-vous? Oh, mademoiselle from Armentières. Quiet, you fellas! Quiet! Pipe down, can't you? Wait a minute, the chairman wants to say something.
Gentlemen, this is a solemn occasion. If those dopes over there will kindly get away from the piano and sit down at the table, I have another toast to propose.
Excuse me, Mr. Westlake. Excuse me, please, sir.
Yes, Uncle Cato, what is it?
Excuse me, Mr. Westlake, but you ain't gonna bust the glasses on this toast, is you?
And why shouldn't we bust the glasses, Uncle Cato? Why shouldn't we bust the glasses?
Oh, but Mr. Westlake, if you keep on busting the glasses, there ain't gonna be no glasses left.
Well, in that sad eventuality, Uncle Cato, we will simply start busting the plates. Isn't that fair enough, boys?
Bust every goblet in the so-and-so place. Oh, we'll bust every goblet in the so-and-so place.
Oh, look, Jimmy, don't you think you'd better tone the gang down a little?
Be quiet, Ron. You're only the groom.
Yeah, I know, Jimmy, but...
Gentlemen, I regret to tell you this, but the protesting voice you just heard was that of our guest of honor, Ronald Denham. Now, we all know Ron, and we all like him. But I am sorry to say he is not himself. Where now is the terror of nightclubs, the chorus girl's friend? I say it to his face, he is sober. But we like him just the same. Friends, guests, and bachelors, I give you the groom.
Please, gentlemen, don't bust the glasses.
Hey, come on, Ron. Come on, say a few words.
That's right, Ron. Get out. Come on.
Now, look, boys, I thank you for all the good words, and I don't want to be a wet blanket on the party, but it's nearly midnight, and I've got to get home early. Don't you understand, boys? I'm a reformed character.
Yeah, how's Fifi Latour?
I haven't seen Phoebe for over a year. She doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
Methinks he doth protest too much.
Oh, now look, I'm marrying the sweetest girl in the world. But Anita's a little, well, straight-laced. You know how it is. What's more, there's my Uncle Rufus.
Quiet!
Anita and Uncle Rufus have apartments in the same building as I have. And what's more, they're on the same floor, and that's not all. Tom Evans, the fellow I share my flat
Wait a
with.
minute. Where is Tom Evans tonight? What's the matter with him?
Tom works for Uncle Rufus, and he doesn't drink.
Oh, he works for Uncle
Hey, fellas.
He never
Fellas.
takes a drink. Oh, he works
Wait.
for Uncle Rufus.
Quiet, you baboons. Quiet.
He's a roaring broker, and he's never in the zinc.
Now, wait a minute. Will you put yourselves in my place? My girl and my uncle and my best friend, Tom Evans, are all expecting me to come home from this party in an ash cart.
Sure.
And I'm going to fool them.
Sure is that so?
Oh, now have a heart, can't you?
This Uncle Rufus must be a pretty tough egg, isn't he?
Oh, he's all right, but after his first $1 million, it went to his head.
Has he got any human weaknesses?
Yes, he keeps canaries. Oh, no, not the kind of canaries you're thinking. I mean the kind that go tweet-tweet in cages. Oh, what's the use?
What do you say, gentlemen? Shall we allow this pure in heart to wend his way home?
He's got a drink for the bride, dude.
That's right, Ron. Can you, as a chivalrous gentleman, refuse to drink to the bride? You can't, and you know you can't. Uncle Cato,
Yes, sir, Mr. Westlake.
get a beer mug from the sideboard there. Fill it with champagne.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Jim.
One more drink won't hurt you, Shirley. Just one little drink.
Well, no, I suppose not.
Fill it up, Uncle Cato.
All right, I'll have one more drink, just in honor of the occasion. But that's all, do you understand? That's absolutely all.
Yes, sir. 098 Park Avenue. Hey, mister. Come on, wake up.
What's wrong?
Well, you're home, mister. This is the apartment house.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course.
All right.
Thanks.
Out we go. Easy now. Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm all right. I've been to a bachelor party.
Yeah, sure. I know. Well, take it easy now.
I can't see straight. The whole street's going around. The funny part is I only had a couple of drinks. They must have put something in that last one.
Well, it's none of my business, mister, but I wouldn't tell that to the missus if I was you.
It's absolutely true.
Oh, sure. I know.
And I haven't got a missus. Not yet. On my word of honor, I'm a reformed character. I have nothing to do with any woman except...
Ronald Denham. As I live and breathe, it is Ronald Denham.
Fifi Latour.
Oh, Cherie, how good it is to see you. I look everywhere for you. I cry my eyes out, but I don't find you. What are you doing here?
I live here, Fifi. I moved.
Oh, you tried to get away from me, yes?
Yes. No, I mean... Here's your money, driver. Night.
Well, good night, sir. It's one of yours, lady. You better take care of him.
I'd take care of him. Yes, you bet you. My poor Ron. I forgive you this time, because you've been on the wrestle-dazzle and you need someone to take care of you. You live in this building, yes?
Yes. 5th floor.
Oh, good. I take you to your apartment.
No.
You say no, eh? And why not?
Because you mustn't go in there.
Oh, there's another woman.
What?
Oh, yes?
Well, yes. The fact is, Fifi, I'm going to get married.
Married?
Oh, for heaven's sake, Fifi, don't make a scene in the middle of the street.
Oh, you break my heart, eh? Right in the middle of Park Avenue, you take my heart and you break it bang, bang.
Fifi, please.
Now I tell you what you do. You will take me to your apartment this very minute.
No, definitely no.
You will give me one cigarette and one brandy. You will tell me what this means. Oh, I warn you, by golly, I start screaming so they can hear me at City Hall.
I can't do it, Fifi.
All right, then I start screaming.
No, wait a minute. Oh, of all the times in the world you had to pick this.
Do I go along, Cherie? Yes or no?
Well, if I do take you, Fifi, will you promise to be good?
Cherie, I am always good.
You won't kick up a row or start banging at doors. Oh, if Anita heard of this.
Anita? And who's she?
Oh, never mind. I'm too groggy to argue. Come on. I remember going into that building. Dim religious light, deep carpets, an automatic elevator that you work yourself. I remember stepping into that elevator because the floor creaked. I remember pressing the button for the 5th floor. I took Fifi with me, and I took her into what the champagne told me was my own flat. Maybe you think that's funny, but it won't be funny much longer. Either the door of the flat was unlocked or my key fitted it. Anyway, I remember stumbling through the little hall inside, getting a light on, and into the living room. I remember sitting back in an easy chair, thanking the Lord I was home.
You don't mind if I take my coat off, Cherie?
Look, Fifi, couldn't you just go home?
I want to talk to you, Cherie. And this is one very nice flat. I like it.
Thanks a lot.
You and Tom Evans, you have good taste in furniture.
We didn't choose the furniture, Fifi.
This girl of yours chose it, I suppose?
No, it comes with the flat.
Oh, you mean?
Well, these are furnished flats. They're all furnished exactly alike except for the personal things you bring yourself. Like that picture on the wall behind me.
What picture, Cherie?
The painting of the clipper ship over there.
But, Cherie, your eyes are funny and you cannot say straight. There's no picture on that wall.
Wait a minute.
What's wrong? Why you jump up?
We don't own any bronze bookends. And the lampshades are different. And, Fifi, we're in the wrong flat.
Oh, well, then that explains everything.
Explains what?
It explains about the canary birds.
What canary birds?
When we first come in here, I think I hear a lot of birds sing. And I think, ooh la la, this is a funny taste for Ron Denham and Tom Evans. But then...
Uncle Rufus. Great Scott. Uncle Rufus.
This uncle of yours, he keep canary birds?
Yes, 5 of them, but this isn't his flat. I know his flat as well as I know my own. Where'd you hear this singing?
Behind that door over there, where I point.
That ought to be the door to the dining room. But what was that?
Oh, it is a car backfire. Maybe yes.
Maybe no, unless they keep cars in dining rooms. That was a gun.
It came from the dining room.
Yeah, I think so.
Quick, let's get out of here.
Oh, no, we don't. I've been pushed around tonight till I'm good and mad, and I'm just about crazy enough to find out what this is all about.
You're not going to open that door.
You just watch me. There's a light in that room anyway.
How you know?
Look under the sill of the door. Not a very bright light, but...
Ron, don't do it.
Stand back now while I get the door open. Dining room. Not Uncle Rufus. And
5 canary birds.
5 canaries in cages, all in a line. Where in Satan's name are we?
Well, sure, I don't know.
Whose flat is this? Who except Uncle Rufus would keep 5 canaries?
I tell you one thing, though, and then I go out of here.
Well?
There's somebody watching us.
Where?
That swing door to the kitchen is partly open. But don't look.
How the devil can I see it if I don't look?
There's somebody standing behind it. I see the light shine on his eye.
Quiet, Fifi. Hello there. Hello there.
The door move a little more. He's pushing it.
Oh, excuse me, sir. We didn't mean to barge in here. We're not burglars or anything like that. We got into the wrong flat, that's all. I want to apologize if we... Straight out through the door, right on his face.
What's the matter with him? Why don't he move?
I've got an idea, Fifi. It's because he's dead. He was a little fat man with eyeglasses and a spade-shaped beard. He looked foreign somehow. And there was a bullet hole over his heart. You ask me what happened then? I don't know. Fifi turned and ran. At least I think she did. I bent over the man to make sure he was dead. And then something hit me. As though it hadn't been enough of a nightmare already, I could hear that blackjack strike the back of my skull. And everything exploded. I couldn't get my breath, and I seemed to be swimming in dark water. The next voice I heard wasn't Fifi's at all. It was Anita's. And...
Ron Denham.
Oh, my head. Oh, Lord, my head.
Well, I'm not at all surprised.
What's that, Anita? I can't hear you.
I said I'm not at all surprised. Of all the disgraceful, dissolute objects I ever saw.
Anita, where am I?
Oh, darling, as though you didn't know.
But I don't know. My head feels like a printing press in full blast.
Well, you're out in the main hall, dear, on the 5th floor, sitting on the stairs beside the elevator shaft.
That's true. But how did I get here?
Oh, now, really, Ron.
I must have been carried here. That's it.
By your drunken friends at the club? Well, I don't doubt it in the least.
No, Anita. No, you don't understand. I left that party early. I was cold sober. But the low hounds wanted to see me come home in bad shape. So they put something in my glass.
Oh, naturally, Ron. Whiskey or champagne?
Oh, no, Anita. I mean a drug of some kind. I was dizzy when I got here. Just as I was getting out of the taxi, I met...
Well, go on, dear. Whom did you meet?
Nobody, Anita. Nobody at all. I came up here to what I thought was my own flat, but it wasn't my flat. It was somebody else's. There were a lot of canaries singing and a dead man with a bullet hole in his chest. And... Well, this sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it?
Yes, dear, it certainly does.
Yeah, but it's true.
Oh, Ron, I suppose I've got to forgive you. I always do forgive you. Now run along like a good boy and sleep it off, hmm?
Listen, Anita. There's a dead man in one of these flats.
A dead man? In which flat?
Well, that's just it. I don't know.
You're not saying it's on this floor?
Yes, I definitely remember pressing the button for the 5th floor.
Suppose you listen to me, dear. Now, don't make faces and rumple your hair. Just listen. There are only 2 other apartments on this floor. One is your uncle's.
It wasn't his. I'll swear to that.
Well, and the other is mine. You don't think I'm hiding a dead man?
No, it wasn't your flat either.
Well, then where is it, darling? A whole flat can't vanish and take the dead man along, can it?
No. But I'll tell you something else, Anita. I've seen that man's face somewhere before.
Well, whose face?
The dead man's. Thick eyeglasses, square black beard, something foreign about it. I've seen him, or I've seen his picture, or...
Oh, Ron, please.
What's wrong?
It's the elevator. Somebody's coming up. Oh, please don't let people see you. Your hat's smashed in and your tie's untied, and you look like nothing on earth.
Well, look here, Anita. If it comes to that, what are you doing out in the hall in negligee and pajamas?
Well, I wanted to make sure you got home safely. Ron, the elevator, it's Tom Evans and your Uncle Rufus.
All right, I can take it.
But your uncle can't. Now, don't say anything to him about this dead man. Promise me.
Hold on, I've got it. Pierre Duroc.
Who?
Pierre Duroc. That's the dead man's name. He...
And furthermore, Evans, you may suspect to me that in this year of 1938, the prospect of a European war is so remote as not to be worth serious consideration.
Excuse me, sir, but isn't that a little strong?
Now, don't argue with me, Evans.
No, sir.
You may tell my secretary to... Look here. What's this?
Well, now look, Uncle Rufus.
Oh, I can't stand any more of this. I'm fed up.
Well, I don't blame you, my dear. Has this nephew of mine been annoying you again?
Oh, no, of course not, but please don't pay any attention to him. He's drunk.
For the last time, I am not drunk. I just want to ask Uncle Rufus, before I go completely nuts, whether he hasn't heard of Pierre Duroc.
What's that, Ronald? What'd you say?
Pierre Duroc, the French millionaire.
Well, what about him?
He's the man who always deals in cash on the line. Spot cash, even if it's $1 million. I saw his picture in the paper. He's in New York to put through a business deal with you, isn't he?
Oh, indeed, Ronald. Well, you show a commendable interest in my affairs.
Well, that's what you want me to do, isn't it?
Well, I believe Duroc does want to buy some property I own, but he hasn't approached me, and I haven't approached him. It's a bad business. Why have you developed this sudden interest in Duroc?
Because he's dead.
Dead?
Somebody shot him in a room full of canaries and then slugged me over the head. Do you believe me, Evans?
If your uncle will excuse me, old man, I don't see any reason not to believe you. Where's the body?
Well, that's the trouble. Ron claims he found it in a flat that doesn't exist. Listen. What's that?
Sounded like somebody running upstairs in the devil of a hurry.
Well, maybe it's the dead man.
As a matter of fact, it's the night porter. He's the one who can tell us.
Tell us what?
Well, maybe I did get off at a different floor, but that flat's got to be somewhere in this building. Pearson! Oh, just a minute. Pearson!
I'm very sorry, sir. I can't stop now. Please stand aside. I got to go upstairs and get the manager.
Why, Pearson? Is anything wrong?
Well, Mr. Evans.
Speak up, man. Is anything wrong?
It's the police, sir. We found a dead man in the palm garden downstairs.
Now do you believe me?
You will oblige me, all of you, if you remain quiet and allow me to deal with this. What does this man look like, Pearson?
He's a foreign-looking gentleman, sir. Never saw him before. He doesn't live in the building.
Well, then how did he get to the palm garden?
Well, sir, that's what we don't know. He certainly wasn't there when I looked in half an hour ago. But I went back to the palm garden just by chance, and there he was in a wicker chair with the singing birds in cages all around him.
Birds again.
Oh, be quiet, Ronald.
He'd been shot, sir. The police think he was brought down in the service elevator from somewhere upstairs.
Why do they think that?
Of course, they found a revolver in that elevator and a little paper band of the kind that goes around banknotes. If they could tell where the dead man came from...
You can tell us where he came from.
Huh? I can, sir.
Yes, you've been in most of the flats in this building, haven't you?
I've been inside all of them, sir. Why?
Well, would you recognize any given flat if I described it?
Oh, well, yes, sir, certainly, but...
Well, then, for the love of Mike, think. Who lives in a flat with 5 canary cages in the dining room?
Ronald, are you out of your mind? In case you don't happen to remember, you're describing my place.
No, it was like your place, but it wasn't at all the same. Oriental prints on the walls. In the living room, bronze bookends and bronze lamps. Dragon patterns on the lampshades. There was a queer kind of clock on the mantelpiece, shaped like a figure of Father Time. And what's the matter with you, Pearson?
Nothing, sir. But you're sure you saw all that?
Yes, of course I'm sure. Why not?
Because, I'm sorry, sir, but you couldn't have seen it.
What do you mean I couldn't have seen it? I did see it. Who lives in the blasted place?
Nobody.
Well, you mean the flat's vacant?
No, sir. I mean, there's no such flat in the whole building.
And that's the position I was in when the police took us down to that palm garden to see the body. I never did like the palm garden much. It's a big, dimly lighted hollow of a place, with bird cages beside the palms and an artificial goldfish pond in the middle. I liked it even less at 3 o'clock in the morning with a dead man looking at me from his chair. They sent us in one at a time. I was first to see the homicide squad officer. And there was Inspector Braddock, a big, sleepy-looking hulk with a hat like a pirate, sitting on a bench throwing pebbles at that pond. Back would go his arm, and a pebble would hit the water. Back would go his arm, and a pebble would hit the water.
And that's all you've got to tell me, Mr. Dunham?
That's all, Inspector. It happens to be true.
Oh, I believe you. After all, son, we've got corroboration.
Corroboration from whom?
From your other girlfriend, Fifi Latour.
But Fifi's not here. She ran out of here as soon as Duroc's body fell through that door.
Yes, but she didn't run far. A cop wondered why she was running and brought her back.
Where's Fifi now?
In that room there, talking to your official girlfriend.
Oh, that's fine. That's beautiful. The one thing I didn't tell Anita.
Why don't you wake up?
Wake up? How?
This isn't post office any longer. It's murder. And one of that gang out there shot Pierre Duroc.
Are you serious?
Serious. Sure, I'm serious. This is as clever and slick and mean a trick as ever went on the blotter. Pierre Duroc was one of the goats. You were the other. This uncle of yours is a fairly important guy, isn't he?
Wait a minute. Just exactly what are you saying about the old boy?
I'm saying he gets lots of publicity. This hobby of his, keeping dicky birds, must be pretty well known.
Yes, I suppose so.
All right. So if Duroc came to visit your uncle tonight...
You say if Duroc came to visit my uncle.
What you're forgetting, son, is that Duroc's an important man, too. He's a visiting foreigner, capital letters, and the department's got to keep an eye on him. Duroc did go to visit your uncle tonight, and he was carrying $20,000 in cash.
What are you intimating?
Murder.
Inspector Braddock.
Yes, Sergeant?
That crowd out there is raising Cain, especially the old man and the French gal. Shall I let him in?
Yeah, you can let him in now.
No, more than an hour. sitting in an anteroom without even hearing why we're here. I tell you, that Evans is intolerable.
It's all right, sir. They probably know what they're doing.
You think so, my friend? But I still don't know why I'm here.
How very interesting, Miss Latour. Such extreme absent-mindedness. Well, perhaps Ron could tell you why you're here.
Oh, listen, Anita, I can explain everything.
Can you explain the disappearing apartment? Well, that's better. I'd like, if you don't mind, to have a little quiet here. Now, which one of you is Mr. Rufus Denham?
I am Rufus Denham, sir. Rufus Denham of Denham and Company. Can there be any doubt whatever about that?
No, but I thought I'd ask. I was just telling your nephew, Mr. Denham, that Pierre Duroc came here tonight to see you.
To see me, Inspector?
That's right.
I can only characterize that statement, sir, as a flat and downright lie. I've never met that man.
I didn't say you met him. I said he came here to see you. Duroc wanted to buy some property from you, didn't he?
Well, I suppose he did.
And Duroc always paid spot cash, didn't he?
Yes, I believe so.
Just one more question. I imagine you've got a secretary.
Yes, naturally I've got a secretary, Miss Helen Gardner. What about her?
Somebody, posing as your secretary, telephoned Duroc at the Metropolis Hotel and spoke to him in very good French.
Well, Inspector, don't stop there. Go on.
This person, pretending to represent Rufus Denham, asked Duroc to come here with the money and said they could settle the deal immediately. Don't you see the trick now? Don't you see Duroc was lured into a dummy apartment?
A dummy apartment? What does this man mean?
I'll tell you. All the flats are furnished exactly alike except for personal things. Pictures, books, lampshades, ornaments. Is that correct?
Yes, of course it is.
The murderer didn't dare use Rufus Denham's real flat. But the murderer could always decorate an imitation flat so that Pierre Duroc would be deceived when he saw...
5 canary birds.
That's it, son.
But what was the idea?
A very neat swindle. Look at Duroc's body now.
Oh, I can't look at it.
Look at his thick glasses. Well, the man was half blind. This so-called secretary, disguised, would meet Duroc in an imitation flat. Duroc would hand over the money and get forged title deeds in return. When Duroc had gone, the flat could be put right again and no evidence left.
But, something went wrong,
That's right. Something went wrong. Duroc suspected.
And had to be killed.
Right again.
Inspector Braddock, who is the murderer?
Can't you guess?
Green Gnome. I think I know how it all happened.
Do you, Miss Latour? Well, it's very smart of you.
This poor Ronald of mine, he is at a bachelor party. They do not think that he will be home until daylight. But he get reformed and come home early. He blunders straight into that flat in time to interrupt.
In time to interrupt a murder, yes. Afterwards, when you were supposed to run away...
But I did run away.
Sure, Miss Latour, I'm admitting you did.
Then why do you look at me as though I didn't?
Afterwards, as I was saying, the murderer had to hit Ronald Denham over the head and drag him out in the hall. Duroc's body was brought down here along with the canary cages that had been borrowed from here, and the dummy flat was set right again.
Just one moment, Inspector Braddock. I'm not disputing anything you say, but...
Well, sir, what's on your mind?
The murderer.
What about the murderer?
Well, all this. Wouldn't it have been much too heavy a job for a woman?
Who said the murderer was a woman?
Well, didn't you?
I don't think I did. I said the murderer was somebody who planned a swindle. And you still don't see it, any of you, because you can't find the dummy flat.
Well, no, and I can't find it myself. That's one question you've got to answer here and now. Where in Satan's name did I go? Whose flat was I in?
Your own.
My own?
Naturally. If you'd been cold sober, you might have made a mistake. But your instinct brought you home to your own flat. And the only possible murderer is the man who shares that flat with you. The man who thought you'd be away until daylight. The man who knows enough about Denham's business affairs to plan this swindle against Duroc.
Look out, Inspector Braddock.
Grab him, Sergeant. Thomas Evans, I arrest you for the murder of Pierre Duroc.
Good Lord. Heavens. Well, that's about all there is to the story. Anita and I were married last week. She's a wonderful girl. I tried to talk her into our staying on in my old flat, but she said she just had to have an apartment which didn't have such a habit of disappearing. But we're very happy. We agree about everything, don't we, dear?
Oh, practically everything, darling. But I still don't think it was cute of Fifi to send up 3 dozen canaries for a wedding present.
so closes Five Canaries in the Room, starring Ona Munson, Lee Bowman, and Osa Masson. Tonight's tale of Suspense. This is your narrator, the Man in Black, who conveys to you Columbia's invitation to spend this half hour in suspense with us again next Tuesday, when our suspense play will be Last Night by Cornell Woolrich, and will star more of your Hollywood favorites. The producer of these broadcasts is William Spear, who, with Ted Bliss, the director, Lud Gluskin and Lucian Marwick, conductor and composer, and John Dixon Carr, the author, collaborated on tonight's Suspense.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, Roma Wines present
Suspense. Tonight, The Bluebeard of Bellac, starring Merle Oberon.
Suspense is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now, a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, who tonight from Hollywood bring you a star, Miss Merle Oberon, and a suspense play inspired by an actual recent news item from occupied France. And so, with the Bluebeard of Bellac, and with the performance of Merle Oberon, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
All right, get back. Stay back there. Back up the wall.
How many were there this time?
One. They found most of him.
A man?
It was a soldier, a German.
I heard it was an officer.
Stay back. Back there. Come on.
But, they're still digging?
Yes. What officer was it, did they say?
They think it was Captain Müller. You know, the doctor.
They think?
They don't know. They're looking for his head.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's an announcement. 5. About this.
Of course, they found the body, identified the body. Why don't they identify him?
Identify him?
The Bluebeard. Why, they find out who he is.
Listen.
Achtung, Achtung. Villages of Bellac, Saint-Jean, Bralagnon, Flumet. Achtung. This morning's victim of the Bluebeard of Bellac is identified as Captain Franz Müller, medical officer attached to the staff of Colonel Strelitz.
Oh, an officer.
For the first time, the Bluebeard himself has been seen, and a description has been provided. Is described as being of medium.
Yes.
I must speak with Colonel Strelitz. Is he here? I have information.
Information about what?
About the Bluebeard. Is the Colonel here?
He's in the staff car. Over there.
Please take me to him. I must see him.
And who are you?
Cécile Combray. Madame Combray. I live on the road to Flomet, just outside the village.
Well, all right, come along, madam.
Is that the Colonel, sitting in the back of the car?
Yes. Now, you wait here. I'll see.
Oberst Strelitz, Corporal Brecht.
Corporal?
Herr Oberst, das ist eine Frau von dem Dorf hier, eine Madame Combray. Sie hat angeblich Informationen über den Blaubart.
Naja, wieder so ein hysterisches Frauenzimmer, Herr Oberst.
Was können wir da machen, Kreuzer? Eine Möglichkeit. Wo ist sie?
Dort drüben, Herr Oberst. Ich habe ihr gesagt, sie soll warten.
Ordnung. Frau Herkommen.
Jawohl, Herr Oberst.
The Colonel will see you, madame.
Oh, thank you.
Das ist Madame Combray, Herr Oberst.
Madame? This is my aide, Lieutenant Kreutzer.
It was kind of you to let me speak with you, monsieur.
Kind? Naturally, madame. When we were told you have information about the Bluebeard.
Yes, I have.
Can't overlook anything. Now that he's killed one of my own officers.
I know. And I am next.
So?
The Bluebeard is going to kill me. He's going to kill me tonight unless you help me. Unless you come home with me and stop him.
This is your information?
Yes,
Why, every woman in Bellac believes she's next on the Bluebeard's list.
but I know.
Madame, the Colonel's time is valuable. We thought you had real information. You don't expect us simply because you hysterically believe that...
No, please. I know Colonel Strelitz.
How can you know?
Because, monsieur. Because the Bluebeard is my husband.
Why? Your husband...
Dr. Pierre Combray. Yes. He's the man you're looking for. I've known it for a long time. He is the Bluebeard.
Tonight for Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you as star Miss Merle Oberon, whom you have heard in the prologue to The Bluebeard of Bellac by Sylvia Richards. Tonight's tale of Suspense.
In many foreign lands, wherever wine connoisseurs gather, they enthusiastically praise the distinguished character of Roma wines. Such praise of Roma wines in foreign lands can only mean that they are truly magnificent in quality. Roma wine's excellence is due to a unique combination of California's perfect soil and climate, from whence come the choice Roma wine grapes, plus age-old winemaking skill and modern knowledge. These combine to make Roma constant in quality, uniformly fine, unexcelled in value. Tomorrow, discover for yourself the delightful Roma taste and goodness enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. Simply serve as an appetizer before dinner a cool glass of golden nut-like Roma California sherry. Then on the table, place a bottle of cool, hearty Roma Burgundy. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the extra delight it adds to your meal, how it will win new compliments from family or guests. Yet, the cost is only pennies a glassful. Get Roma wines tomorrow. If your dealer is temporarily out of Roma, please try again soon. Ask for ROMA, Roma wines. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
And now it is with pleasure that we bring back to our soundstage Miss Merle Oberon as Madame Cécile Combray in The Bluebeard of Bellac. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
$11. He'll be here in an hour. And if you had not come here with me...
You have nothing to fear, madame. The house is well guarded.
But won't the guards frighten him away?
The instructions are to let him through. They will come in only when we have him trapped, and we are armed.
Yes, and he does not carry a gun. You know he uses a knife.
Madame Combray, why didn't you come to us before if you knew your husband was the Bluebeard?
First, I wasn't sure. Then, when I was sure, well, he was still my husband.
Then why now?
Because now he will kill me, and I'm afraid. I knew when he went away with the body of Captain Müller yesterday.
So you saw the captain?
Yes, I saw it. And when Pierre looked at me, I knew he'd kill me. Tonight.
Yes, he may try.
It's been weeks of fear. And the night, the endless nights.
Have you been married long, madame?
Long? No, less than a year.
You aren't French, are you?
No, I'm English. I spent a summer in Flomé about 4 years ago, and I liked it, so I stayed. I taught English in the village school there.
Dr. Combray?
About a year ago, there was an epidemic in Flomé, and Pierre, came there to help. He seemed to me when I met him to be very kind, a very noble man. Of course, I didn't know him well, but when he asked me to marry him, I was very happy. The morning after we were married, he brought me here to Bellac, to this house which had been his family's for many generations. It was a beautiful morning, early spring. We came, as you did tonight, up the hill, past the summer house, to the front door.
Well, here it is, Madame Combray.
Come, I'll carry you over the threshold.
Oh, careful, Pierre. Don't drop me.
No chance of that. Now, this is the hall. Shall I carry you on from room to room?
Oh, Pierre, no. Put me down.
Very well. Come this way. Now, here is the parlor. Oh. Hello, Captain Muller.
Good morning, Doctor. I've been waiting. I hope you don't mind. They said you'd be back this morning, the people down the road.
Yes, I was held up by my wedding.
Your wedding?
Oh, I'm sorry. Cecile, this is Captain Muller, the medical officer in charge with Colonel Strelitz. Captain, my wife, Cecile.
How do you do, Herr Müller?
Well, Doctor, I congratulate you. I see even an epidemic can be useful.
That's one way of looking at it. So what's up, Muller?
I wanted you to come in tomorrow to help with the vaccinations. About 150 are going out, and we need help. The last lot carried typhoid.
I'd be glad to help. What time?
Well, they are leaving at noon. If you're there at 8 o'clock, we'll have enough time.
I'll be there.
Very well, Doctor. Madame, tomorrow then. Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler. Now we will go on with our tour. Follow me.
Pierre, who's to be vaccinated tomorrow?
All labor draftees being sent to Germany. This is the kitchen. The stairs go up from here.
What's upstairs?
Well, off that first landing there are several bedrooms, mine and others, and on the floor above still more. Before the war, there were servants.
This is a pantry?
Yes.
And this door, where does it... Why, it's locked. What is it?
Oh, there's an old wine cellar. It's not used.
A cellar? Do you have a key?
There's nothing down there, Cecile, that would interest you.
Oh, but I'd like to see. We might be able to grow mushrooms.
No,
or...
Cecile, it can't be used.
Let's look. Where's the key, Pierre?
Cecile.
Yes?
That door must stay locked.
But, Pierre...
You understand?
Yes, but why?
No matter what happens, you must never try to go down there. Never.
You see, monsieur, it was a small thing. Just a room I must not enter. He told me the room was used for his experiments, and I believed him. I was in love. But there were other things, and they added up to fear. Just the taste of fear. A shadow so light I didn't know it was there. There was first of all the gossip I heard in the village when I went to market.
Good morning, Madame Cambrai. You're late today.
Pierre worked late last night. Is there any milk, Madame Bourget?
I can let you have a little, a pint.
Oh, if that's all.
Does the doctor work often at night?
Quite often in his laboratory.
I could not bear a man who pottered around after dark.
But it's his profession.
Maybe, but I would not sleep a wink, not with this Bluebeard around. No, I like a man who is steady, so I know what he's up to. Oh, how can you bear to live in that big, depressing house?
Oh, but I love it.
Well, you're young. I suppose it's romantic to you. It's no place for a woman to be alone. The first Madame Cambrai, you know, she died there.
Yes, Pierre told me. But I know he did everything he could.
Oh, yes?
It was very sudden. Typhoid can be very sudden.
Yes, its certificate said typhoid. That's why your coffin was sealed. Oh! Hey, Jean! Jean, what is it?
What is it? What's happened? Everyone's running.
There's an announcement, madame. They know who one of them is.
What? Of whom?
There were 3 last night. One of them was a man.
3?
Why, the Bluebeard, he killed 3 in one night. Cut them to bits.
Oh, how terrible.
All sliced up and scattered around, Madame Cambrai. You should have seen.
Oh, no. Where were they?
In the meadow north of the church. Why, that's near your house.
The meadow?
Yes, Madame Cambrai. If you had been awake, you would have heard him. You or the doctor.
Yes, if I'd been awake, I would have heard. And one night, I was awake. My husband and I had gone to bed early, and I slept well. I'd worked in the garden most of the afternoon. But shortly after 11, some sound woke me. It may have been only an owl's screech. I lay in the dark and listened. I didn't hear it again. Then I heard another sound. And I saw there was a little moonlight, that my husband was out of bed and that he was dressing. Pierre.
Oh, did I wake you?
Pierre, what is it?
Nothing, Cecile. Go back to sleep.
Is someone ill? Did someone come for you?
I have to go out. Go back to sleep, Cecile. I won't be long.
Something woke me. I heard a sound.
I'm sorry.
Did someone come for you? Was it Captain Muller?
No.
Who is it, Pierre? Who's it?
No one you know.
Where are you going, Pierre? Do you have to go far?
Go back to sleep. I won't be long.
But Pierre...
I'm sorry I woke you.
You didn't. I'm sure I heard a...
Cecile, it's best that you go back to sleep.
I just wondered.
It's best for you. Good night, Cecile.
He went away, Colonel Strelitz, and I lay there in my bed, rigid, listening to his steps down the dark stairs into this kitchen. I heard the front door open and close. Then he went down the gravel path in the moonlight. I waited. It seemed long, yet it was only a little time. That clock there, I could hear through the floor, chime the quarter, then the half. When I heard him, it was not yet midnight, and he came slowly, climbing the hill. I slipped out of bed and went down the stairs to the landing there, from where I could watch him come into the kitchen. But when he came into the kitchen, I could not speak, for he was not alone. Over his shoulders, he carried a body. A man, I think. And he was stooped under his horrible burden. He crossed the kitchen without looking up and did not hear what I was sure he must hear, the pounding of my heart. He took a key from his pocket, holding the body with one hand, unlocked that door to the wine cellar and went into its awful blackness. Then I was back in my room. I don't remember how I got there, cold and shaking in my bed. When I heard... Oh, monsieur, it was pitiful. I heard rising from the depths of the house from where he had gone the scream of a man in fearful agony.
Cecile.
Yes. Yes, Pierre.
You are still awake.
No, Pierre,
I told you to go back to sleep.
I was, Pierre, I did.
But you are awake now.
Something... I heard something.
Yes, you heard?
It must have been you opening the door.
Oh.
You came in suddenly. You must have...
Yes, I think I did. Well, we'll go to sleep now.
Yes, we'll go to sleep. Pierre?
Yes.
Was someone ill?
Yes.
Who was it, Pierre? Did you have to go far?
We'll go to sleep now, Cecile.
What time is it?
Time? It's just past midnight.
Midnight was usually the hour, his hour. He always came back soon after. And the following day, there were always the announcements on the loudspeakers in the village. Bodies, pieces of bodies. It was the day when your men found Odette. It was so horrible for me, because she was so beautiful and still only a child. And you remember the body was yet warm. So the whistles were blown, calling all the village to the church square, because the Bluebeard might still carry his knife or have blood on him. Or he might not get there and be known because he was missing. I was in the village and I ran to the square with the mayor. And we stood in line with the others. Everyone was there. Everyone except Pierre. What terror I felt. Monsieur, when you began to call the names.
Felix Armand?
Here.
Paul Arden?
Here.
Yvette Barthélemy?
Madame Cambrai, are you ill?
It's just the sun. It's so warm, yet I feel chill.
You're very pale.
Neil Charbin?
Here. Why, I don't see Pierre.
Cambrai?
Here. Oh, he's probably with Captain Muller. He'll be here.
Pierre Cambrai?
Yes, here, I'm here.
Oh, well,
Pierre.
Don't look at me like that. You'll attract notice.
You're out of breath. Where were you, Pierre?
Doesn't matter, I'm here.
But your hands, your clothes, they're wet. So you see, I still did not know. And I needed to be sure. I could not live unless I was sure. So I stole the key to the cellar. Yes, it was that easy. while he slept, and the next day he went to the village with Captain Muller and left me alone with the answer in my hand. I opened the door and went down those steps, carrying a candle. We will go down there in a moment, Colonel Strelitz, to wait for him. And you will see there is a little room, bare and damp by the candle's light. I saw there was something on the table. It was his case, filled with knives, surgical instruments. Not strange for a doctor. There was blood on them, fresh blood. And there was more on the table, on the floor, and much blood on a sheet which I found thrown into the corner. I found the strength to get out and to lock the door again. I put the key back that night. So again, I did not know. I did not really know until yesterday. I was sewing in the front parlor, and Pierre was walking up and down because he had an appointment with Captain Muller. The captain was late.
What's keeping Muller?
Perhaps he got orders. More soldiers came into Bellac yesterday. Many more.
Yes, I know, but that shouldn't keep him.
There's something going on. They're getting ready for something.
Yes, but why would Muller...
Do sit down, Pierre. Your walking makes me nervous. I've spoiled the seam and have to rip it out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Some of the soldiers were searching houses yesterday. I don't know what they were looking for.
Did they come here?
Oh, no. At least not while I was here. I was in the village most of the afternoon. That's when I saw the soldiers. And there's nothing here to look for. Is there, Pierre?
That's it, of course. Why didn't I think he's down there?
Pierre, where are you going?
I'm going down to my cellar, Cecile. I have work.
Pierre, no, not the captain.
Yes, the captain and Cecile. I don't want to be disturbed.
And then I knew he was going to kill Captain Muller. He was going to kill a German soldier. Worse, an officer. I knew then, Colonel Strelitz, that if he would go that far, he was no longer a man I could even attempt to reason with. His insane urge to kill might turn on anyone. Even me. I had to stop him. Oh!
Cecile! Cecile, what are you doing? You can't come down here.
You killed him.
Cecile, now I'll have to. But I wasn't ready. It's not time.
Captain Muller, they'll track you down. You can't get away.
Cecile, be quiet. I warned you. I told you not to.
Murder. You did it. You killed him. And the others.
Cecile, I told you.
What'll you do now?
Do? What do you think I'll have to do?
And now you know, too. And in a few minutes he'll come, and then it will all be over. It's almost midnight.
It's a remarkable story, madame. So he made no attempt to harm you last night?
No, Colonel Strelitz. It wasn't time.
Not time?
He kills only when he feels the need. And he'd already killed one, so the need was gone. And it was daylight.
He left then?
Yes. I haven't seen him since. He looked at me. It was a terrible look. And he went. And I knew by the look that I would be the next. Tonight.
And Captain Muller?
He took the captain's body with him. Come, we must go down to the cellar now, before midnight.
Very well.
Lieutenant, will you bring the lamp?
Yes, I'll bring it.
You see, it's unlocked, as he left it. Close the door behind you, Colonel.
Very well.
Careful, the last step. Another door.
Oh, it is small and damp.
Is that the table where he...
Yes. Set the lamp there, Lieutenant. You can see the stairs. They're quite dry by now.
I see. And on the floor.
Sit down, monsieur. There, where you can watch the door. I will stand here at the back, if you don't mind.
You're right. It's safest for you.
Listen. I heard the clock strike. And, yes, listen.
The door.
Have you your guns?
Quiet. Yes, but we want to take him alive.
You can. He's coming down.
Cecile, are you there?
Put your hands up, Dr. Hombre.
Ah, visitors. Well done, Cecile.
Scarcely visitors, Doctor. A bit more unpleasant for you. Now, if you'll...
Put your hands up, Colonel Strelitz. You too, Lieutenant.
Madame Combré.
Yes, I too had a gun.
But your husband, he's
The Bluebeard? I'll take your gun, Colonel, and yours. No, Colonel, I am no Bluebeard, as you knew very well. It was clever of you to plant the mutilated bodies of your victims to drive me into the open. To create this legend of a Bluebeard to make the people of Bellac suspect all men who work at night, as I do. To make the village distrust me, their leader.
But, Madame Combré, you saw Captain Muller, saw his body.
The captain? Yes. Pierre killed Captain Muller. He was his one victim, because the captain was suspicious and pried a little too far into this room. Pierre had to kill him because he saw our radio station behind that wall. Open it, Pierre, and let the colonel see.
You see? The wall opens easily, and behind it is the nerve center for Bellac, for our underground army.
Army? Sneaks and cowards who set their women to lying.
I lied?
What else? You said that he carried in a body, that there was a scream in the night, that there was a body.
All true, Colonel.
Yes, I carried home a man wounded by your soldiers, and I removed the bullet without anesthesia, for we French have no such luxuries. So the blood of that patriot is mixed on the table with that of the late Captain Muller.
Don't you know it's hopeless for you?
Hopeless? Colonel, surely you know that our armies are in France, Americans, English, and our underground army which surrounds you?
But this house is surrounded by my men.
It was, you mean, Colonel.
Are you still there, Mr. Porter?
Porter?
Yeah, what do you say, Doc?
Everything quiet?
Quiet as a tomb, Doc. How are things down there?
Who's that?
We have what you call a couple of rats, Mr. Porter. Then we are finished.
Okay.
That is Mr. Porter. As you heard, he is an American.
An American? You?
He is commanding a large number of parachutists who just an hour ago dropped into our meadow.
Oh.
And who a few minutes ago very quietly killed the guards you mentioned.
Killed? My God.
Yes, and since you were here in the cellar, unfortunately, you could not hear. But now, Pierre, you have your work to finish.
Your work?
I have orders from my army to kill you and the lieutenant, to secure this advance for our allies. So with Cecile's help, I set this little trap.
Oh, listen to me. You won't.
Cecile, do you want to share the honor?
No,
please.
For
Please.
France?
No,
Yes.
No, I won't. No,
It is
no.
And so closes The Bluebeard of Bellac, starring Merle Oberon. Tonight's study in Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear.
Have you discovered how much good wine adds to the enjoyment of food? How Roma wine makes even the simplest, most inexpensive meals really exciting events? Well, all you need do is place on the table with the meal a cool bottle of hearty Roma California Burgundy. Serve it in any kind of glass. You will find it delicious with any food. And if you are entertaining guests, you will find Roma wine just the gracious, festive note that makes any dinner party or get-together a happy, compliment-arousing occasion. And remember, Roma wines cost you only pennies a glassful. So any home can afford the pleasure they add to everyday living, to entertaining. Ask for ROMA, Roma wines. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
Merle Oberon is soon to be seen in the Columbia Technicolor production, A Song to Remember. Next Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, same time, you will hear Mr. Gene Kelly as star of Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, ROMA, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Suspense. For you men and women in the armed forces of the United Nations, we present one of America's top spine tinglers, a radio rebroadcast of a program dedicated to the mysterious, the unusual, and sometimes the supernatural. A program of Suspense.
On this rainy afternoon, we should like you to meet the Princey family and their visitor. They are, of course, at home. Mrs. Princey, daughter Millicent, George, the son and heir, sprawled on a couch, and finally, Mr. Princey, biting on a dry pipe. Their living room is dull and overstuffed. Rain beats at the windows. They are any middle-class family at home on a wet day, except for one small item. As you sit with them in the living room, you can see through the door to the sun porch a pair of men's feet, encased in high black shoes. They look like the feet of a curate. There is a tenseness in the room. The air is charged with excitement. But the feet are very still.
But don't keep staring at them. Listen to me, all of you. Don't you see? They'd hang her. That's what they do. They'd hang her.
Oh, Fred, it's too awful.
Awful. It's catastrophic. A supposedly sweet, gentle, intelligent girl, respected and loved by the whole village, doing a thing like this. Think of the publicity and the disgrace. Do you think I'm going to resign from the bench and the vestry and sell out and live in some foggy hotel abroad? Oh, no.
No, I'll kill myself. I will.
Don't be a fool.
Any more than you have been, the governor.
Will you be quiet? It wouldn't be so bad if it were you, George. Everybody in the village knows you're not responsible. George,
yes?
Get off that couch. Sit up on your spine. You might be of a little use here if you could think.
Oh, but I say, Governor, this isn't my funeral, you know.
Shut up. As long as I can remember, George, you have been a trial and tribulation to me.
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
You've got to stand it, my dear. And keep that hysterical note out of your voice. Do you hear?
Yes.
Yes. We are talking about the weather. Now, George.
Yeah?
George, if he fell down the old well, say, striking his head several times, what about that? Hmm?
Well, I really don't know, Governor. What about it?
Don't be an ass. I'm asking you to think. But he'd have had to hit the side several times in 30 or 40 feet and at all the correct angles. No, I'm afraid not. That won't do. I'm afraid not. We'll have to go over it all again, Millicent.
Oh, no, Father. No, I couldn't.
Millicent, we must go over it all again.
Fred, you're torturing her.
Oh, face facts, matey. With him lying, there's no use pretending it's a picnic.
They might hang you, Millicent. And do stop that shaking. Stop it. Do you hear? You must stop it. And you must keep your voice quiet, Millicent. We're talking about the weather. Now we will proceed.
I can't. I can't up with those feet there.
Oh, you should have thought of that, Millie. I'm not moving.
Shut up, George. Shut up and sit up. Stop shuffling your feet. Now, Millicent, look at me and answer me truthfully. Do you hear? Answer me. You were in the croquet court.
Yes.
Who knew you were in love with this wretched curate?
The whole village knows, but they've been sniggering about it at the pub for 3 years past.
Shut up, George. Millicent, we'll continue. You were on the croquet court.
Yes.
You were putting the croquet set into its box.
Yes. It was starting to rain. I was carrying the balls and mallets into the sun porch. The box was there.
You heard someone enter the garden gate and come across the yard.
Yes.
Could you see who it was?
Not at first. I was going into the sun porch. I threw down all the mallets but the red one and turned round.
And it was with us.
Yes.
So you called him.
Yes.
Loudly?
Oh.
Did you call him loudly? Could anyone have heard?
No, Father, I'm sure not. I didn't really call him. I just spoke his name. He saw me as I went to the door. He just waved his hand and came over.
How can I find out from you whether there was anyone about, whether he could have been seen?
I'm sure not, Father. I'm quite sure.
So you both went into the sun porch.
Yes, it was raining hard then.
What did he say?
He said, "Hello, Millie," and excuses coming in the back way, but he'd set out to walk over to Liston.
Yes.
And he said, passing the park, he'd seen the house and suddenly thought of me. And he thought he'd just look in for a minute. He had something to tell me.
Go on.
He said he was so happy he wanted me to share it. He'd heard from the bishop he was to have vicarage, and it wasn't only that. It meant he could marry. And he began to stutter and get all confused. And of course I thought he meant me.
Don't tell me what you thought. Tell me exactly what he said, nothing else.
Yes, answer, Governor.
Well, oh, dear.
Stop sniveling. It's a luxury you can no longer afford. Will you tell me what happened?
He said, no. He said it wasn't me. It's Ella Bragdon Davis.
Oh.
And he was sorry and all that. Then he went to go.
And then?
I got mad. He turned his back. I had the red mallet of the croquet set in my hand. I forgot to drop it in the box when he came, and I...
Did you shout or scream? I mean, as you hit him.
No, I'm sure not.
Did he? Come along, speak up.
No, Father.
And then?
I threw the mallet down.
Oh.
I came straight in here. I went to look for Mother. That's all.
My poor
And you're
baby.
sure no one else was about?
No one.
Leave the child alone, Fred.
Oh, not such a child, Major. Oh, Millie, I had no idea.
Be quiet, George. I'm thinking. See, George, he probably told people he was going to Liston. Certainly no one knows he came here, for he didn't decide until he crossed the park. He might have been attacked in the woods. We've got to consider every detail. The curate with his head battered in.
Don't, Father. Don't.
Oh, shut up. A curate with his head battered in. Curate with his head battered in. Who would want to kill Withers?
Who would want to kill Withers? Well, I would, with pleasure. Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Princey?
Well.
Sit down, pray. You mustn't get up for me, Mrs. Princey. You either, Millicent. My word, I'm just being neighborly on a bad day. Wanted to see you about those dahlia bulbs, Princey. Took a short cut on account of the rain and walked right in. I knew you wouldn't mind.
He heard you, Father.
What's the matter with you? My dear, we can have our little jokes, can't we? Don't pretend to be shocked. This way, Smallish, old boy. This chair facing the fireplace. Sit down, Mother.
Just straightening the curtains to the sun porch, dear. It looks so gloomy out there. Might as well shut the rain out.
Well, Smollett, we were just talking about a little theoretical curate killing. Young people these days like thrillers.
Parsonicide? Justifiable parsonicide. Have you heard about Ella Bragdon Davis? I shall be a proper laughingstock.
Why should you be a laughingstock, Smollett?
Oh, I had a shot in that direction myself. She half said yes, too. Hadn't you heard? She told most people. Now it will look as if I were jilted.
Too bad.
Oh, fortune of war.
Yes, fortune of war. Fortune of war. That's funny how that happens, isn't it? Sit down, Smollett. Sit down. Mother Millicent, would you console Captain Smollett with your best light conversation? George and I have something to look at outside. This rain, you know, is bad, very bad, everything wet. Come along, George.
Right, Givner. Perhaps we'll need raincoats.
Oh, I don't think so, George. Just make yourself at home, Smollett. Put your feet up. Make yourself at home.
Cigarette, Captain Smollett.
Thank you. Yes. A nasty day to be going out.
Oh, it's something about the old well, just off the sun porch door, you know. This terrible sudden weather seems to have loosened some of the stones.
Too bad. Too dash bad. Spoils the tennis and the croquet. I mean, a day like this. Doesn't it, Millie?
Yes, it does. She was practicing out on the croquet court earlier. But do pull your chair nearer the fire, Captain. It was so damp we thought it would be cozy to light it.
Thank you. I'm quite comfortable.
I hope you don't feel too bad about Ella Bragdon, Davis.
Oh, can't always win. Can't understand, though, what you women see in those bloodless clerics.
Oh, I always thought Mr. Withers was is a very charming man.
Quite agree, but why should anyone want to marry him? You wouldn't want to marry him, would you, Millie?
Not now.
Huh?
That is, I used... No, of course not.
What? Oh, good Lord, Princey, old man, you come on a fellow suddenly.
Suppose I did, yes. Suppose I did.
Yes.
You don't mind this old double-barrel shotgun, do you? I've been working on it. Could I have your attention for a minute? There's something on the sun porch I'd like to show you.
Why, yes, of course.
Smollett, George and I went out to see if we could shoot some rats which have been driven out of the old well by the high water, and we were afraid they might get into the house, you know. Now, you'd better listen to me very carefully. Very carefully. You'll be shot.
What?
By accident.
Princey, what's the matter with you?
Well, you heard me ask as you came in who'd kill Withers. You also heard Millicent make a comment, and an unguarded comment.
Well, what of it?
Very little, unless you were to hear that Withers had met a very violent end this afternoon. And that, my dear Smollett, is just what you're going to hear.
What? Withers dead?
Yes.
Who killed him?
Millicent.
Good Lord.
Oh, Millicent, stop sniveling. Yes, it is a mess. And of course, you would have remembered and guessed.
Really? Yes, I suppose I should.
Therefore, you constitute a problem.
Oh, why did she kill him?
Oh, it's one of those disgusting things. Pitiable, too, I think. She deluded herself that he was in love with her.
Good heavens, Millie? Oh, yes, of course, I see.
He had told her about the Davis girl, Ella Bragdon Davis.
I understand.
I have no wish, as you will comprehend, that she should be proved either a lunatic or a murderess. I could hardly go on living here after that. Besides, I'm rather fond of Millie.
Oh, quite.
On the other hand, you know about it.
Yes, I see. That makes me a problem. You were wondering if I could keep my mouth shut. If I promised.
Wondering if I could believe you.
But if I promised.
If things went smoothly, yes. But not if there was any sort of suspicion or any questioning. You'd be afraid of being an accessory.
Oh, I don't know.
I do. What are we going to do?
Well, I can't see anything else. Never be fool enough to do me, and I mean, you can't get rid of two corpses.
Well, I regard that as a better risk than the other. It could be an accident, or you and Withers could both disappear. The possibilities in that, you know.
Oh, listen, you can't.
I can, but there may be a way out. There is, Smollett. You gave it to me yourself.
I did?
Well, you said you'd kill Withers. You have a motive.
Oh, look here, I was only...
Now, listen, Smollett, I can't trust you, and you must trust me. Or I'll kill you now, in the next minute. I mean that. And you can choose between living and dying.
Go on.
Well, there's the old well just outside the sun porch door, and that's where I'm going to put Withers. No one outside knows he's come up here this afternoon. And no one will ever look there for him unless you tell them now. You must give me evidence that you have murdered Withers.
I murdered him? Why do you want that?
So that I shall be dead sure that you'll never open your lips on the subject.
I see. What evidence?
George,
yes, Captain?
hit him in the face.
No.
George, don't.
You keep out of this, Mother.
Oh, Captain, you should be more careful. Look what your teeth did to my knuckle.
Do it again, George.
Okay.
I can't stand it. Father, how can you?
You keep quiet, Millie, and do stop sniveling. I'm very sorry, Smollett, but there must be traces of a struggle between you and Withers, then it'll be altogether safe for you to go to the police. George.
Yes, Governor?
Get the croquet mallet, will you?
Yes.
Take your handkerchief to it. It's there on the sun porch floor, boy.
I've got it, Governor.
That's right. It's a good lad.
There, Captain. There's the weapon.
As I told you, Smollett. Now, would you please just grasp the end that mashed Withers' head? I shall shoot you if you don't.
Good Lord, you can't.
That's better, boy.
All right.
That's right. Now, you deposit it out by the side of the house. Out of the rain, of course. Oh, wait, George.
Yeah?
First, you'd better pull a few hairs out of his head and then put them under the nails of Withers' right.
Wait. I'm sorry to muff your hair up, Captain.
Oh, don't be a baby, Smollett.
That's all we need. Now for Withers, and we'll fix it right. Be right with you, Governor.
All right, boy. Smollett, you may turn around now. Withers is just there in the sun porch. Draw back the curtain.
Good Lord.
Yes. Messy. Now, Smollett, you've just got to drag him through the door and dump him in the old well.
It's just beyond the door, Captain.
I won't touch it. I won't.
All right. Stand aside. Out of range, George. Get out of the way. There's only one place I want this charge of shot to go.
Father, oh,
You keep quiet and stop slibbling. My aim's not so good.
Wait a moment. Wait. I'll...
That's better. That's better, Smollett. Much better. Now, go on now. In here. You've got to take him outside.
By the shoulders ought to do it, Captain.
Now, keep quiet, George. Now, go on, Smollett, under the arm. That's right, go on. You've seen dead men before. Don't go green. Drag him, boy, along the floor. I'll just hold the gun here to make sure that everything goes all right. Steady, boy, steady. Mind the corner.
Mother.
Oh, come away from the window, dear. Don't look.
But Captain Smollett.
Your father is a very resourceful man, Millicent. I'm sure what he's doing is...
Captain, I can't stand it.
You mustn't question your dear father.
Are you too still at it? Well, there's enough trouble around here without blubbering, sir.
Don't you call me blubbering, George Princey.
So you see, Smollett, everything is perfectly safe. Remember, no one knows that Withers ever came here. Everybody thinks he walked over to Liston. That's 5 miles of country to search. They'll never look in our well. Don't you see how safe it is?
I guess so.
Good heavens, man. Oh, dear me. You poor boy, you're dripping wet. Why don't you slip your raincoat on? Is the tea ready, dear?
In just a minute, dear. I'll ring for Bridget.
It's exactly what you need, Smollett. A nice, hot cup of tea. It's the best thing in the world to ward off a cold. Sit down, old man, won't you? Sit down. I don't mind getting the chair wet, that's all right. Would you have a cigarette?
No.
Help yourself. I stick to my pipe. Funny how you get attached to pipes. My wife always says a man...
Everything's hot, ma'am.
Oh, Bridget, yes. Put the tray in front of me here on the table. That's it.
Oh, I say, Captain, you've cut your lip.
Huh? Oh, yes, I just knocked it.
Why, how dreadful. Here, Bridget, give the captain this cup.
No, thank you. I rather think I'll be running along if you don't mind.
Why, Captain Smollett, without any tea.
If you don't mind, Mrs. Princey, if you could just let me have my ring.
I'll get it for you, Captain.
Oh, this is very distressing, Smollett.
I'll be all right presently, I'm sure.
Here we are, sir. Here, let me help you.
Thank you.
Young man.
You'd better go out the front way, Smollett. Front way, because the walk is dry.
Let me hold the door for you, Captain.
And don't worry, old fellow. Don't worry at all.
No, I won't.
Good afternoon. I don't think it's anything serious, Mother. Little rest. He'll be as right as rain. By the way, Millicent, you're not looking any too well.
Not well at all. I'm sure it was that croquet court. Being outdoors in weather like this is simply foolhardy.
Oh, yeah, the mate is right, Millie. You saw what happened to Captain Smollett.
Come along, dear. I'll give you a hot foot bath and put you to bed. A couple of days in bed and you'll be fine again.
Now, you get plenty of rest, Millicent, and don't you worry about a thing. That's the best cure. Don't you worry.
I guess I'll have a little rest too, Governor.
Oh.
Fine afternoon for a nap.
Oh, yes, very fine, boy. Stretch yourself. Well, enjoy yourself, boy. I'll see you later. I'll see you all later. Doing the Lambeth walk. Ta-da, 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 ta-da.
Your number, please.
Would you get me to the police station?
Police station, right away, sir. Police headquarters. Sergeant Yancey speaking.
Oh, hello, Sergeant. This is Princey of Abbott's Road. I believe you know me.
Oh, indeed I do, Mr.
Sergeant, a
Prince.
rather horrible thing has just occurred. Quite extraordinary. Murder, in fact.
Murder?
Afraid it looks rather bad for a close friend of ours, unfortunately. We saw him do it. I think you'd better send someone over right away.
Well, a man should be there right about now, Mr. Princey.
Beg your pardon?
I say, our man should be there now. Constable Martin has his post right below your house there, just rang in. Seems Captain Smollett was with him.
Captain Smollett?
You reported some rather queer goings on at your place, but I certainly didn't understand it was murder. Now, just don't touch anything, Mr. Princey, and don't worry at all.
No, I won't worry. No, thank you, Sergeant. I'm right here, and stop shouting.
We have some visitors, Governor.
I can see that. Well, Constable, good afternoon.
Oh, Mr. Princey.
Hello, Smollett. Well, what a remarkable fellow you are, coming back like this, here to reenact the crime.
Only the one against me, Princey. The one against the curate I'll leave to you people.
Extraordinary sense of humor.
Mr. Princey, I just had a look at what's in your well. Not a pretty sight, that. Not pretty at all.
Yes. Captain Smollett was thorough, if nothing else.
You saw him when he did it, sir? Out in the back?
Oh, yes. We were just returning from a walk, and Smollett had evidently been laying for the curate, hiding out in those bushes by the road, I imagine.
He was never inside this house?
Never.
Ah. And you say, Captain?
I say that while I was inside this house, a guest of the family, I was coerced into dragging the curate's body outside and dumping it in the well.
Well, there we are.
Not entirely, Constable. I'll just remove my raincoat there and demonstrate how damp I got my clothes when I went outside without it.
Now, that's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, very, yes, most. He undoubtedly removed his coat at some point between here and your post. I might as well tell you that his weapon, a red croquet mallet, is out by the side of this house. I shouldn't be at all surprised that you'd find his fingerprints all over it.
All over the end of the mallet, Constable. The end that mashed Wither's head. Not the end I'd have to grasp in order to do the mashing.
Governor.
Oh, shut up. That's a decent try, Smollett, but it won't work. There must be other evidence, Constable. You'll undoubtedly find it when you examine the body.
He means my hair under Wither's nails. Well, sir, I happened to notice something when your young George there opened the door for me. If you look carefully, I believe you'll find a few of my precious hairs under his nails, too.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
Shut up, Sleepy. Constable, this is a complete waste of time. So far as the violent struggle between Smollett and Withers is concerned, Smollett's face speaks for itself. Quite eloquently, I believe.
But no more eloquently than your son's knuckles. As you see, Constable, a fresh abrasion. He did that on my teeth. Or did he?
What?
I say, or did he? He might have done that on Wither's teeth.
Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, but I didn't, Governor. He said that I did that on Mr.
Still, you nitwit. Let me think. Will you let your father think?
As a matter of fact, George, the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced it was your voice I heard. Quite a vigorous quarrel. Something about the curate jilting your sister.
What a ridiculous, Smollett.
Very well, Princey. If he didn't do it, then who did?
Yes, that's what I'd like to know. How about it, Mr. Princey?
Well, Constable, it is a sticker, all right.
George, my boy, it looks to me as if you're elected.
Elected? What do you mean? I didn't do it.
Keep your mouth shut, will you?
I won't, Governor. I'm not going to take the blame for her. Millie did it. She did it with the mallet. I saw her.
Me?
Millie? You could prove that.
What, you... Prove it? Yes. Fingerprints on the mallet on the handle.
Why, George? Don't you remember when you made me touch the mallet when you picked it up with your handkerchief?
Huh?
George, I'm sure you wiped that handle clean. Oh, well, I could hardly expect you to remember that if you can't even remember killing the curate.
Governor,
I told you to keep still, George. I'm your father's thinking.
Governor, you're not going to let him say that I...
As long as I can remember, George, you've been a trial and tribulation to me.
Oh.
You shouldn't have done it, George. You shouldn't have done it. Let's all have a nice cup of tea. Mother, has a tea boiling, a kettle boiling, have a glass of tea. Nice, well on.
And so closes Wet Saturday, starring Mr. Charles Lawton. Tonight's tale of suspense.
Suspense was rebroadcast especially for you men and women in the armed forces of the United Nations. And now, in the time that remains in this period, we present the orchestra under the direction of Donald Voorhees. This rebroadcast is a presentation of the Armed Forces Radio Service.